and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be talking about the Girl Sex 101 book club. In case you don't know, this is a book club that I am running with my fellow booktuber Emma Tobias, and every month we're looking for books that challenge outdated heteronormative views on sex and gender and sexuality and so on. In February, the book that we read was If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. So today I'm going to go through what we thought about this book, and at the end of the video I'll be announcing our March pick. If I Was Your Girl is an own voices book about a trans main character who is starting a new school. She had to leave her last one because of bullying, and at the new school she makes some really great new friendships and starts a romance. So how did this fit into our Girl Sex 101 mission? Well, did it challenge ideas of sex and gender? Yes, it definitely did, having a trans main character. Did it challenge outdated views on sexuality? Yes, the main character was exclusively attracted to boys, but two of the other central characters were bisexual and lesbian. And did it challenge outdated ideas about sex and virginity? Well, there was no sex in here, so virginity was not really explored, but I did really like that in the make-out scenes, Amanda was very confident about her own sexuality, so she chose what she wanted to do, she initiated things, she decided when she'd had enough, her consent was viewed as really important, so that was really great. So now for my thoughts on the book itself, and I'm going to try to avoid giving any spoilers here. I started off loving this one. As the book went on, I did kind of fall out of love a little bit with it, and other Emma, felt the same way as well. Overall, I think I did enjoy it more than she did, but neither of us were head over heels in love with it by the time we got to the end. But having said that, I want to start with the main thing I loved about this book, which is that it is a positive and optimistic representation of a trans main character. There are some really sad parts, mostly in flashbacks, but overall this is a happy book. And too often we see LGBTQIA+ characters used as a kind of tragedy porn. And, you know, there are some really wonderful and sad books about queer characters because a lot of queer people do have harder lives. But you can also have a really positive, happy life. So I loved that overall, this was a really happy book. The best thing is I think that trans readers can find hope and optimism in here, and that's a great thing. Before I read the book, I'd heard a few negative reviews from cisgender reviewers saying that they didn't like it because they found it unrealistic how positive it was, and I thought that was really offensive before I read the book, because why shouldn't it be positive? But having read the book, I feel like I understand a bit more, because it felt like the whole thing was too positive and idealised. The representation of high school and how teenagers treat each other just didn't quite ring true with me. But at times there were some really raw and emotional moments, so it wasn't the whole way through. That was just a little odd niggling feeling that I had and Emma said she had as well. It just felt like this kind of sanitised, idealised version of high school that neither of us quite related to. I was really interested at the end of the book to read the author's note. So Meredith Russo wrote two notes, actually, one to her cisgender readers and one to her trans readers. And to her cis readers, she explained why she made Amanda the way that she is. So she's a very much inverted quotes, idealised trans character. She knew that she was a girl from a very young age. She has had surgery that realistically her family probably wouldn't have been able to afford. She's exclusively attracted to boys, and she's very pretty and traditionally feminine, and she passes very easily. This doesn't reflect the experience of the majority of trans people, but Russo said that she created her this way because she didn't want there to be any barrier for cisgender people to understand Amanda as a girl. And I respect that choice completely, I do. It did just make me feel a bit sad that she felt that she had to do that, because then in her note to trans readers, she put a note of reassurance saying it's okay if you're not like Amanda. And I just wish that those trans readers had been able to read a character that more accurately reflected what probably more of them are going through. So that I found sad, but that's not a criticism of Meredith Russo at all. I mean, it is not my place to comment on how she wants to represent her own experience. It was just sad to acknowledge that I think she's probably right, that probably less cis people would have read and enjoyed this book. The writing was not magnificent. The dialogue particularly I found a little jarring, so that kept kind of throwing me out of the story. Emma and I both found that a bit. And I don't want to go into the details of the ending because of spoilers, but I will just say I was a little disappointed with the way that the ending came about, but I loved the actual ending, as in like the last page. I thought it ended on exactly the right note, so that was great. So overall, really interesting book. I'm really glad I read it and I did really enjoy it. And it's always great to have really good trans representation, written by a trans author. And I would love to know what you guys thought if any of you read along with us last month, so do leave me a comment. But now, on to the exciting announcement for next month. If you would like to read along with us in the month of March, the book that we will be reading is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. From what I've briefly read about this book, it is about a lesbian main character who goes to live with a very old-fashioned family after her parents die, and I think her aunt sends her to a conversion course. I think that's what happens. It's quite a long one, so we're going to start on the 1st of March to give us as much time as possible to read it, and we would love if some of you guys read along with us. So leave me a comment below if you have read either of those books, or if you're planning to read along with us. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to this channel for new videos every Thursday and Friday. See you next time!